Welcome to Step by Step, a video Bible study series presented by the Monte Vista Church of Christ in Phoenix, Arizona. On this episode, Alan Greeley talks about the importance of the resurrection as proof that Jesus is the Son of God.
Did you know that one of our biblical writers said that his preaching was completely useless and vain? Did you know that the same biblical writer said that our faith was completely useless and in vain for no good reason? Did you know that the same biblical writer said that he had lied about God, that he had misrepresented God? The same biblical writer also said that even though people say that they're forgiven after the gospel is preached and they obey Christ, they're not really forgiven. They're still in their sins, and that includes me. Did you know that the same biblical writer said that of all the pitiable people out there, that Christians are the worst? Who said that? And why would he say that? That was the great apostle Paul. Well, why would Paul say that preaching was in vain, that faith was in vain, that forgiveness was not a reality, and that Christians are pitiable? Of course, we need context. Context helps us realize what the text is saying. The context was if. If Christ had not been raised, preaching was vain, faith was vain, people were still in their sins, and the Christian hope was not a reality, and thus Christians are pitiable. But of course, none of those are true. Christ was raised, and so preaching is not vain, it's vital. Our faith is not vain, it's vital. Forgiveness is not a joke, it's a reality in Jesus Christ, and Christians' hope is not pitiable. You should actually want to be one because there's hope beyond this life. Have you ever been asked why you believe in Jesus Christ? If you've ever answered other than the resurrection of Jesus Christ, I want to challenge your answer. Not that there's other reasons why I don't believe that I believe in Jesus as the Son of God. I believe that Jesus is the Son of God because of prophecy and miracles. Those are great evidences of Jesus. But the Bible doesn't hinge all of those things on prophecy or miracles, but the Bible does hinge those things on the resurrection, preaching, faith, forgiveness, and the Christian hope. And so if you've ever been asked why you believe in Jesus, we need to put that at the top because Paul put it at the top. But why do you believe that Jesus was raised? I want to talk with you about that for just a few moments. Let's say that you had 5 minutes with an unbeliever who is honestly asking you to give a defense for why you believe that he was raised. Well, that's what Paul is doing in 1 Corinthians 15. What I quoted earlier was from verses 12 through 19 of that chapter, that preaching was vain, faith was vain, that forgiveness was not a reality, and Christians are pitiable if Christ had not been raised. But before that, at the beginning of the chapter, he says that he was. And the reason that he gives is that Christ appeared after his resurrection. I'm going to read verses 3 through 8 of 1 Corinthians chapter 15. I delivered to you as of first importance what I also received, that Christ died for our sins in accordance with the Scriptures, that he was buried, that he was raised on the third day in accordance with the Scriptures, and that he appeared to Cephas, then to the 12. Then he appeared to more than 500 brothers at one time, most of whom are still alive, though some have fallen asleep. Then he appeared to James, then to all the apostles. Last of all, as one to untimely born, he appeared also to me. You'll notice 4 times Paul says, Christ appeared, he appeared, he appeared, he appeared. Where is he putting his faith that Jesus was resurrected? In the appearances. He didn't raise from the dead and then disappear into heaven, and you would think that that's what they would have preached if Christ's body had been stolen, which is one of the theories. They would have gone around saying that Christ had been resurrected from the dead and that he just disappeared into heaven. But that wasn't their preaching. They preached that Christ was witnessed, that his dead body, which had become alive, was seen, and seen by hundreds in different instances. Peter says this in Acts chapter 2, this Jesus, whom God raised up, we are all witnesses. What powerful evidence, especially when you consider what the Christians ended up going on and doing, which is getting beaten, getting imprisoned, killed. Stephen was killed in Acts chapter 7. James was killed in Acts chapter 12. And history records many other Christians and many of the other apostles died because of their faith. They were convinced. And they were so convinced that their life was not getting better preaching the resurrection. No, their life got much worse. But that was worth it to them because they saw the resurrected Lord. And we want you to be convinced too. And if there was ever a reason to believe in Jesus and to fall at the feet of another and say, "My Lord and my God," like Thomas did, it's because He was resurrected from the dead. And that's proof He'll defeat your death too.
Thanks for watching. For online Bible study material, or to find more episodes in this series, visit us on our website at montevista.church.